to just bypass these pastors, because these pastors, of course, a lot of them are just middlemen for babalawos. So you go to the pastor and list all your concerns, and the pastor will then recommend 3 days of praying, and then once you have left, he will then go to his babalawo mentor to say, this is the list of the things that have been brought to me, and the babalawo will say, do this and that, and then you come back later, you say your problem has been solved, and they all say, you'll be shouting praise, 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 and praise, praise, praise. Who are you praising exactly? Is it the supposed pastor that is telling you that is running a church, or the actual person that has now done this thing for you, which is the babalawo that the pastors go to? Because a lot of these pastors are actually babalawo themselves. A lot of them don't even go to babalawos, because they say they have strong rooms, and they have these rooms, and they have that rooms. I've never been to any, but this is the narrative. This is a common understanding of all of these sort of people out there. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now guys, this story beggars belief, because it's really only within the Nigerian space that this would happen. You will recall, of course, this is not a new story to anyone. The missing child in Akure, there's been development now, and the pastor, of course, at the heart of this narrative is still acting punchy and arrogant. So with that, guys, I bring you this. Pastor arrested in Ondo State over missing child, sues DSS, demands 100 million naira compensation. So that's the headline. Unbelievable. But the pastor arrested in Ondo State over missing child, sues the DSS, which is, of course, the arresting organ of the government, of the police services, and demands 100 million naira in compensation. So now that's the headline. Now let's get into exactly what this now thing is. Barely 24 hours after his church, Shotitobi Miracle Center in Akure, Ondo State, was set ablaze by an angry mob over claims that the corpse of a 1-year-old boy, Eniola Kolawole, who went missing on November the 10th during a church service, had been dug out of a section of the auditorium. Pastor Alfa Babatunde has dragged the Department of State Services to a federal high court sitting in Akure over his arrest and continued detention by the secret police. Babatunde, in a suit filed by his counsel, Akeyemi Omowari, said his continued detention by the DSS without being charged to court was an abuse and violation of his fundamental human rights. So now, is fundamental human rights, I'm just pausing to digress a little bit, is fundamental human rights is being abused, but then of course the fundamental human rights of this 1-year-old boy now no longer exist, of course, because now nobody has any thought that any sight of that boy will ever be seen again on this earth. So now the fundamental human rights of that boy, of course, now no longer exist. But he, the lead person in the center where this boy went missing, who is now being detained by the authorities to answer questions as to how this boy went missing in his custody, is now suing for 100 million naira, because his fundamental human rights apparently is being abused and violated, for the authorities deeming it necessary to ask him about a missing boy that was in his custody, i.e. his church. Anyway, we'll carry on. He noted that he had been arrested for over 8 days and had remained in leg chains in DSS custody without food. Joined in the suit filed are the Director General of the DSS, Yusuf Bichi, Emmanuel Anuabi, Isaac Babalola, and Remy Oluwalogmo. The applicant prayed the court to restrain the 5 respondents and their agents, servants, subordinates, or any person or persons taking instruction from them from engaging in any further acts of arrest, detention, and violation of his right to liberty and or dignity of a human person. Pastor Babalola is also asking for 100 million naira for violation of his fundamental human rights. No date has been fixed for the hearing of the suit. So now this person now. Which other place, pray you, should this person be other than in the custody of the police. So this boy now was taken to church, and then when they got to church, they were informed. Then they were told that obviously there's a children's church, and anybody that's a Christian knows this, that this is common practice within the church space. That there's a children's church where you present your child, so that that child does not constitute a nuisance to the proceedings of the main service. So all of the children, of course, are gathered then under the supervision of the children's team. So this children's team, of course, are adults, about 5 or 6, depending on however many children they have to contend with, to keep the children entertained and teach them about the Bible whilst the service is going on. So now these parents now, after the service then, went on to pick up their child, only to then find, to their astonishment and to their bewilderment, that their child is now no longer anymore amongst the children gathered in the children's space. So then, of course, they're now raising alarm to say, where's my child? As any person would, if any person on this planet would not have that visceral reaction, then please point yourself out so I can make sure that you never attend this my channel again, because you are not a human being, that you place your child in one space and then you go to pick up your child from that space and your child is no longer there, and you don't raise all manners of alarm. Of course, is a natural human instinct. So as a consequence of all of this person, of course, now has now flashed up within the Nigerian space, and especially of the background of what we know of this sort of pastors. We know that the pastors, especially in the southern regions of the country, there are more babalawos really than pastors, because a lot of them are very occultic in their behavior. In fact, a large percentage of them are occultic in their behavior, to the point that I heard somebody once on a video recently querying why people actually go to these pastors. Why don't they just go to the babalawos directly, to just bypass these pastors? Because these pastors, of course, a lot of them are just middlemen for babalawos. So you go to the pastor and list all your concerns, and the pastor will then recommend 3 days of praying, and then once you have left, he will then go to his babalawo mentor to say, this is the list of the things that have been brought to me, and the babalawo will say, do this and that, and then you come back later, you say your problem has been solved, and they all say, you'll be shouting praise, 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 and praise, praise, praise. Who are you praising exactly? Is it the supposed pastor that is telling you that is running a church, or the actual person that has now done this thing for you, which is the babalawo that the pastors go to? Because a lot of these pastors are actually babalawo themselves. A lot of them don't even go to babalawos, because they say they have strong rooms, and they have these rooms, and they have that rooms. I've never been to any, but this is the narrative. This is a common understanding of all of these sort of people out there. So now this guy now has the effrontery now, and the sagacity and the audacity to now say that his fundamental human rights is being violated. I would have thought that the first thing that this guy will be addressing is, of course, this child that is missing under his custody, because I think it's more at a reputational risk than a fundamental human rights risk. Yes, of course, being held in custody in Nigeria is not entirely or especially a pleasant thing, because these people are just brutal. They are animals anyway, and they'll treat you as though you were an animal too. So you can only imagine what custody in Nigeria would be like. But the effrontery and the audacity of this guy now to come into the public space to raise this alarm is just really a cut above the pale. Conversations in the comment section. This ludicrous man is suing for 100 million naira. And what is your take in general about this narrative now? Because this narrative of this child that is missing in Akure speaks to a larger problem within the Nigerian space. So this now is going to be our test case, just like that slapping governor Abo, what is his name again, the one that was slapping women. So this should be a test case now. So now come tell me what your thoughts are about all this. I'm running out of battery, so I'm talking very fast. So come tell me what your thoughts are about all this. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me what you think has happened to that child in that space. And please don't be too graphic because I don't want to be deleting comments. So come tell me what you are making of this story in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace.